Hi, and welcome to Morning Market Call. I'm your host, Jeff Butler, and today we have our resident workplace productivity analyst, Graham Orm. Welcome to the show, Graham.
Thank you, Jeff.
So we have just kicked off March Madness.
We have.
And there's certainly a madness going around Marriott School. Can you tell us a little bit about how March Madness affects corporate America? What kind of effect does it have on productivity in the workplace?
Well, an MSN Microsoft survey just came out that 45% of Americans participate in their office pool. And a conjunctive study done by Challenger, Gray, and Christmas just came out that workplace productivity decreases by $1.8 billion in productivity hours, work hours.
Wow, that's significant for sure.
Yeah, those numbers are based off of 20 minutes spent per American on the website of various websites, checking their scores and checking their team and researching teams, getting ready for the madness in March.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say, how did that translate into maybe an effect on employee morale?
Well, it's interesting to say that 22% of senior managers surveyed through Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, they say that actually it boosts employee morale. And only 7% say that it decreases employee morale.
Wow.
But, the rest say it has no effect. But in the majority of the cases, it increases employee morale as employees are able to communicate together, express like interests in teams, and it generally boosts the camaraderie within the company.
Cool. So kind of give us a sense as far as when companies are typically affected by this whole madness that we call March Madness.
Well, it starts basically with Selection Sunday as people are starting to research their teams and trying to make their picks. And then it goes through the first two rounds as most of the games are during the day. And since there's live streaming internet these days, employees can watch games while they're at work. And so they estimate that employees that are involved in March Madness waste 100 minutes in the first week of March Madness. But that starts to taper off as the first two rounds get over because games start to happen in the evenings. Right. And there's not as much research needs to be done because picks are done. So it starts to taper off towards the end throughout the later rounds.
I see. So what do you think corporate America should be doing about this phenomenon? Is there something that they need to do to correct it or to make adjustments for it?
Well, clearly March Madness is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And especially in worlds today of connective technology, they're not going to be able to avoid employees participating in March Madness while at work. So the worst thing they could do is to try to suppress it. That would decrease employee morale. That would increase employee dissatisfaction.
Right.
Also, companies need to watch out for fake fun being stuffed down the throats of these employees. Because what they need to do is they need to make sure that the majority of the employees are interested in March Madness, because if the majority aren't, they're only going to hurt morale instead.
Right.
But if there is an environment in their workplace that encourages participation in March Madness, what they could do is build activities that are based around the games through informal lunches or going out to a sports bar for big games. These things would build the camaraderie within the company, and as well as establish employee loyalty and employee goodwill for their bosses, and generally improve workplace relations.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying they could maybe embrace March Madness and kind of use it as a force for good.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Graham, for your helpful insight. And we look forward to watching the Cougars continue to participate in this year's tournament. And that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
The Morning Market Call is a production of the Marriott School of Management at Brigham Young University and is made possible by generous donations from Larry Kashjan and Gary Williams. This webcast was produced by Greg Lee, Tim Hart, Julie Kellett, and Jonathan Marucci.